how I'm firing. I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong. Strong. Ah, 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 ah.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CMB checking in. And guys, I want to talk about this rumor that's been going around about Errol the True Spence Jr. possibly coming back and facing the WBC 147-pound champion Mario Barrios. And I've been hearing it a lot. And so I kind of looked it up here to see where this was stemming from. And I'm going to read it to you guys. Let me read it. Let me pull it up here. So this actually came from Mario Barrios' trainer, Bob Santos. So it says, speaking to World Boxing News, Barrios' trainer, Bob Santos, claimed that his fighter could actually defend his crown against the Truth next. Now, let me read his quote here. He says, I mean, everything's on the table, but their promoters, Premier Boxing Champions, talking about Spence. They're talking about, maybe we'll see how this fight with Stanionis and Ennis play out. It could be an all-out unification for 3 belts. We'll see what happens with Spence. So that's how the rumor got started here. Now, take this with a grain of salt, guys, because we don't know if this is true or not. I haven't heard Errol Spence Jr. say anything on his Twitter about coming back and facing Mario Barrios. And far as I know, Errol Spence Jr., the last time he fought, it's been, almost 2 years. He said he had problems making 147. So I thought the goal was to go to 154. But we're just not sure what's going on with Errol Spence Jr.'s career. Now, me looking at this and just speculating, I'm thinking that maybe the PBC presented this to Mario Barrios and his team, and maybe they hadn't talked to Errol Spence Jr. about this yet. This was something that they were thinking about because of politics, PBC politics. Maybe they were hoping, I'm sure they wanted Stanionis to win the fight and bring home the IBF title, because you guys know Jerron Boots Ennis is signed to DAZN. Bring that Ring Magazine title. They have Barrios, I think, who's signed to the PBC. He's a WBC champion, and kind of corner the market when it comes to the belts at 147 like they did before. They had all the belts except for the WBO, which was held by Crawford at the time, and he was on top rank. So I think it's a little bit of politicking going on there, and maybe they were going to present it to Errol Spence Jr. if things played out the way that they wanted them to, because we know PBC likes to play those in-house. They like to do those in-house fights because they're easier to make. And, a lot of times, like I said, the platforms in the United States, they don't really want to play nice with each other unless it's, there's no option. So that's what I'm seeing this as. I'm seeing this as PBC making, a political calculated move to capture all the belts and bring all their fights in-house. Now, we'll see what happens. Like I said, Spence hasn't said anything. And, he's pretty quiet on social media when it comes to these matters. But he's a straight shooter. And if something like this was true, then we would probably hear from him. He would probably make some type of statement. So, like I said, take this with a grain of salt, guys. You just never know in the sport of boxing. But like I said, I've been under the impression that Spence wanted to move up to 154. And the reason I'm thinking that, is politics, because we've seen PBC play these calculated political games in the past. They did the same thing to Crawford in a sense where, he activated his WBO super champ status to face the winner of Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu. And then they put Errol in the ring and said that Errol won it next with Sebastian Fundora, even though he lost to Crawford. So, it's just all boxing politics, and they stink to high heaven. We know that. They'll do anything to satisfy themselves and not give the fans what they want. But what else do you guys expect? They've been doing it so long now. And that's why I welcome Turki Al-Sheikh. because he's making the big fights. He's paying big money and he's making the big fights. And they don't like that. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. That's just me speculating, guys. You know, it could be a bunch of hogwash. You know, I'm just talking here. But you guys let me know what you think about this rumor. Do you believe it? Do you think Errol Spence Jr. should, if he does come back, you know, fight at 147, 154? Do you think Errol's washed? Maybe he should retire? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.